Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time being here, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for clicking the play button. My intention is very simple. It's to bring in information from higher consciousness to help you raise your own vibration. Why? So that you can live out your life to the fullest of your potential, so that you can experience life with far less limitations, so that you can experience more happiness, more joy, more contentment in your life, so that you can feel more empowered. That's truly where my heart is. So if this is something that you are interested in, if this is something you have been asking for, then you've come to the right place. However you have come here, however I have landed in front of you, it is perhaps the universe's way answering some of the questions you might have had, or directing you to this information to help you raise awareness to some of the things you might have been battling with. I would love for you to click the subscribe button. It helps to grow the channel. The more people are in their own full power, and not the ego power, your divine power, the more we will experience living life to the fullest. And I truly believe, and that is my intent, is to help raise vibration on planet Earth so that we can experience life that is more joyful, filled with more happiness, with less sorrow and less pain. So that is ultimately my goal, and the more people that are exposed to this information, I believe the better chance of this will be that it will happen. Click the like button. It tells the algorithm that this content is worth watching. Again, if it wasn't for you, there would be no need for me to do this, and I absolutely love what I do. And share it with a friend or two who you feel might benefit from this information. One thing I will say is that do not take anything that comes through me as gospel. That is not my intention. My intention is to help you pause and think, to help you reframe certain things within your mind, to help you shift your perception. Because the moment you shift your perception, more often than not, it is when you begin to heal. And that is ultimately my goal. That is what gives me most pleasure in my life. One of the things that gives me the most pleasure in my life is to help people like you feel more empowered. So I would love for you to help me grow this channel if that's okay with you, or if this is what you would like. And yes, so don't take any of what I say as gospel, but be open and just see what your intuition tells you. All right. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much. The very reason why I do this is because of you. And I absolutely love what I do. Before we jump on to the piles this week, and the subject of today's messages is, what's our purpose? And this is a question that is asked of me probably most of the time when I work with my clients on private sessions. And if you would like to hear more channeled, extended version of this, there's a link down below. You can click on it. It's absolutely free at no charge to you. And you will be taken to the video that talks about a little bit more substantially about what's the purpose of a soul. Why are we here? And in particular, why are you here? You listening to this material, because you are drawn to this energy for a reason. And last but not least, I have a special going on right now, promotion, which I rarely do, but it is something that I want to gift to you. So if you would like a discount on my private sessions, I am holding the Black Friday promo. There is a note down below. Use the code that is there. Click on the button to go to my booking site and take advantage of this substantial discount. So if you are interested in working with me personally, one-on-one, but you haven't had a chance to, for whatever reason, perhaps this is your time. Myself and my team would be absolutely honored to work with you. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into piles and let's discover what your specific purpose is for being here and what your soul wants you to know. So let's go on to pile number one. If you're tuning into pile number one, if pile number one called to you, then one of your first messages is alone time. So this is specifically for your specific message from your specific soul, okay, regarding your purpose. Okay. It says alone time. There's a sense that I get about dissatisfaction in terms of where you belong, or feeling like you don't belong somehow. And feeling like you are not a part of something, but you want to be. Okay. Perhaps also feeling like you are part of something bigger, but you can't quite get there yet. Okay. There's a certain level of dissatisfaction. I'm not sure if I said that already. There's lack of focus. And there's a little bit of fear of what's going on right now. So there's a fear in regards to what's going on in your life. And you are in movements. You're shifting. You are in movement. You are in between. Okay. And the best way to combat that is to not make yourself busy, but rather go inside. Your soul wants you to stop running around, if that's what you're doing, or it could be running around in your mind. And your soul wants you to take a breath and just be with yourself for a moment. Be with you. What does it mean to be with you? Well, first and foremost, what comes to me is to be present with yourself. Because yourself is always talking to you. You may not hear it, you may not see it, you may not realize it's there. You may be mad at it, at yourself. Okay? And there's various reasons why we are not in the moment with ourselves. We're not listening. Perhaps you're not used to it. Perhaps you're not used to listening to yourself. But your higher self wants you to listen to him or her because he or she has important information for you, which cannot come to you unless you're quiet. You are in a growth period and a period of expansion. And there are certain things you need to understand about yourself in order to move to the quote-unquote next level. Okay? And those things rely on you looking in the mirror, looking at yourself. And perhaps looking at some of the things that you were too afraid to look at, didn't want to, tried to escape from. Your soul wants you to know you better. Because remember, when you know yourself, this is where your power is. It's when you know yourself. It's not when you don't know yourself. It's when you know yourself is what your power is. But I'm going to rephrase. It's not where your power is. It's where the choice resides in terms of how you use your power, because you have it already. Okay? And you can use your power in effective ways or not so effective ways. You can use your power in support of you, and you can use your power that is not in support of you. Okay? But your power is always there. In fact, you use it every day. So when someone says, I don't have power, or I'm not powerful, that person is literally denying themselves. They're in denial of their true self, because we're all powerful. In order to deny yourself your power, you have to have power. You have to use your power to do that. You have to use your power to deny yourself of having power. I hope that's going to translate. It's how I see it. Okay? And I'm seeing that many of you are determined to find your power. But here's the thing. You haven't lost it anywhere. It's not lost. It's in you. It's in you. So, if it's in you, but you can't see it, maybe you're not looking for it in the right places. Maybe you're trying to find your power by looking outside. I'm sorry to tell you, you'll never find it there. Your power is yours, and therefore it belongs to you. If it belongs to you, it means you have it. You are in possession of it. You are in possession of it. It is in you. It is not outside. Can you give yourself permission to go inside and to look for your own unique power? Can you do that? Would that be something that you would be willing to do? Now, here's the thing. Once you find your power, and by the way, it's not lost, it's there, you're just not looking for it, or you were looking at it from in the wrong places for it. Once you find it, once you see it, once you begin to realize it's there, it's always been there, then you get to choose what you're going to do with it. You're going to choose how you choose to use your power. On the other hand, you cannot choose how to use your power if you believe that you don't have it, or that you lost it, or someone took it away from you. Okay? And your unique gift is to learn how to find it within yourself. And Spirit communicates to you right now, all the time, in a way that will allow you to do this. You don't need anybody's permission to be powerful. It's one of the things that was given to me a few years ago, was a phrase, you don't need permission to be powerful, or never ask for permission to be powerful. You don't need permission to be powerful. You already are. And just notice how that lands on you, how that lands with you. Is there a part of you that wants to reject it? No. Is there a part of you inside that screams and says, no, that's not true? Or does it ring true to you on some level? If you have triggers that are opposing this truth, then identify what the trigger is. Because there is obviously a part of you that does not believe that, maybe doesn't want to believe that. You have your reasons. We all do. Nothing wrong with it. But in order to experience your true power, you have to be willing to know yourself. You have to be willing to look at how you currently use your power in limiting ways. What choices you are making that are disempowering to your very being. Albeit those choices are mostly unconscious. Again, if you have no knowledge on how you limit yourself, you will never be able to change it. There's nothing to change if you do not know that it exists. It needs your attention. And right now, your power needs your attention. Which means if you're not giving your power your attention, then what are you giving your power to? Or who? If it's not you, then who? That's an important question to ask yourself, pile number one. If you're not giving your power your attention, then who is getting your attention? Who are you giving your attention to if it's not your power? Okay? Energetic balance. You do not need approval. You are approved of already. Done. Check mark. Done. I've been approved. The idea of approval is really nonsensical when we look at it from a higher perspective. And it's like saying to the universe, hey, universe, ask for approval for existing. The universe is like, I don't need to ask anybody. I'm the existence. I approve of me. You are part of all that is, that just said to you, I as all that is, approve of myself. There's nothing outside of me that needs to approve of me. I approve of me. You are part of that energy. Question, do you approve of you? Do you approve of you? If so, how much? Do you approve of you are 100%, 50%, 10%, 70%? What's your number? And if it's 50%, let's say, then 50% of the time you will be looking for approval from outside. So to use this analogy, half of your life or half of everything you do is going to be based on you seeking approval from the outside. Okay. Here's the thing. The outside already approves of you. Now, maybe some individuals don't. They're not supposed to. Their job is not to approve of you. You approve of you, remember? Your job is to approve of you. But in order to approve of you, you first have to look at what are you disapproving of? Where are you clinging on to disapproval of you? Your disapproval of you. Where do you disapprove of you? What's missing? Remember, someone can approve of you or disapprove of you. It makes zero difference. It means nothing unless you take that and make it yours. And you, by the way, would be using your power to do just that. Okay? Now, why would you want to give your power away? Again, we've just decided you can't give your power away. It's with you. It's in you. It doesn't go anywhere. So why would you choose to disapprove of you, number one? Number two, why would you want to have others be responsible for approving you or disapproving you? Because if you think about it, it really doesn't matter, because in order for you to approve of you, you still have to do the approval. So it's like going through too many steps and trying to get the same result. You approve of you, done. Or you look towards others to approve of you, but at the end of the day, you still have to approve of you, because what they approve of you or don't approve of you makes no difference unless you buy into it. So why not just skip that step and approve of yourself already? You approve of you, and then watch what happens. There's no certain tests you have to pass to approve of you. Remember, you're already approved simply because you exist. So this whole approval notion, pile number one, which by the way, I totally identify with, it's part of my path. But it's this notion of approval, disapproval, which is all about how you yield your power, by the way. That's all. These are the things you have to look at, face within yourself before you enter this other dimension, before you can embody Christ consciousness. Okay? Five of Swords. There is something that you are not letting go of yet. It's emotionally based, okay? And I'm just hearing approval. I believe, pile number one, your soul is communicating to you that we need to look at this little thing called approval or disapproval. And we need to realize that the whole approval and disapproval thing is something that needs to be put to rest. It's in the past. So pile number one, likely you have felt disapproved of your entire life or some time in your life. And it has affected you to the point where you started to doubt yourself. Okay, pretty standard. And when you start to doubt yourself, you essentially begin the process of not believing in yourself. Okay? And if that's the case for you, which likely is, you are going to be seeking out others to believe in you or to approve of you. And that's a heavy energy to carry. Because you always are walking around constantly feeling like you're not enough. Newsflash for you, or a reminder. How could you possibly be not enough if you are part of all that is? Again, that's the higher consciousness talking. Beyond your 3D awareness, there is other awarenesses. And the major difference is that the higher awareness allows you to see and embody this truth that you are part of all that is. And all that is immensely powerful. And it lacks no thing. Okay? You are part of that. So if you are part of that, then that means you lack no thing. So how could you be no good enough? Doesn't make sense. Think about it. I just heard you are not who you're supposed to be. Who tells you who you are supposed to be? Who are you listening to? What do they tell you you're supposed to be or not supposed to be? Who you are and who you are not, that gift belongs to you. And it's a gift. And we all have it. Regardless where you come from, what you know or don't know, what you're conditioned to think, we all have it. Okay? So the question for you is, do you still choose to be defined by your past? And that's because if you are choosing to be defined by your past, then you cannot experience this other vibration or dimension. Okay? Because the other dimension is all about this awareness of completeness, of expansion, of acceptance, of love. Okay? I'm hearing you're not enough. How come? How come you're not enough? Who says you're not enough? Somebody told you you're not enough. So, okay, all right, so let me get this. Somebody told you that you're not enough, and it's your responsibility to make the choice whether you choose to accept that as truth or not. If you have accepted it, I don't mean down when you were young. Back then it just happened. It wasn't conscious. We just absorbed. But now you are making that choice. It's not a conscious choice. So if someone says to you that you are not enough, look at them and say, well, according to you, not according to me. Thank you very much. Okay? Now, obviously, this is presented to you in such a way in order to kind of make you go smile, maybe even laugh. And especially if you ask yourself the question, what the hell am I doing? Because my job is to mess with your mind a little bit, to create these openings that will allow you see through it all and move beyond it. That's the path you are on right now. The question is, will you take the opportunity to move beyond it? Will you allow yourself to move beyond it? Are you brave enough to experience more for yourself? Are you brave enough to experience your wholeness versus focusing on what you're missing, on somehow you're not good enough? It's absurd. You not being not good enough doesn't exist. It's an illusion that we bought into. Okay? That's what I have for you, pile number 1. And I thought it was amazing. Hello, pile number 2. These are going to be your unique messages from your soul regarding on what your purpose is right now, what you are here to face. And one of the things that you are realizing about yourself right now, pile number 2, is the fact that you have been conditioned to make choices you didn't approve of, and these conditioned ways of making choices make you blind to the fact that you are in actuality making those choices. So you are making choices you don't like. But more than that, you don't even realize that you are making those choices to begin with. Double whammy. Which means if you're not consciously aware of making these choices, but those are the choices you would not prefer, there is virtually zero you can do about it. Zilch, nada, zero. Not happening. Okay? Remember, knowledge is where your power is. The more you know yourself, the more you are able to, I'm going to say it differently. The more you know yourself, the more you can choose for yourself, and the choosing is better. You can better choose for yourself. You can experience choosing differently. Okay? That's where your power is. Okay? Your unique conditioning, I see it as a wall right in front of you. And this wall is made of glass, mirrors, in fact. The idea here is that you are standing in front of the, how do I say this? You're looking at yourself, or you're not looking, depends what you choose, in order to see beyond what you are seeing with your eyes. Okay? In other words, you are not just looking at you, you are looking through you. Okay? Why is that important? Because when you look through you, which means looking beyond what we can physically see, when you begin to look through you, you begin to see many things that were previously not available to you. But it's not that they were not available to you. You were just not in a space to be able to grasp it. Okay? And how you identify yourself is changing. Part of your path is to understand yourself in terms of how this all works, okay? How the universe works. And for some of you, there's a purpose behind it. You are an educator. And for some of you, it's your thing. It's your thing. The more access you have to this other knowledge, this vastness of knowledge that's beyond your conditioning, okay? The more you can reach in and bring in knowledge and information that's of value, the more you can share it with others. How you choose to share, that's entirely up to you. Okay? Some people choose to sing, so you might be a singer. And by the way, they're saying you don't have to qualify as a singer to sing. Thank you. We're not talking necessarily professional singer, although that could certainly be the case. That is one way of you expressing yourself. But what if you just want to express yourself by singing out loud? That's you expressing your energy in your own unique way. And believe it or not, it has an effect on other people. Your voice has an effect on other people. Thank you. Your voice has a profound effect on other people. Believe it or not, yes. Okay? Why? Because your voice carries a certain encodings within it. It's like there is, how do I describe this place? It's like you project or you express yourself with voice or singing, and your voice is embedded with a certain frequency. That's the best way that I can explain it. It's like your voice or what you say or sing is encoded. It's encoded with pockets of information. And that information reaches people directly, okay? Often bypasses critical thinking. So it reaches their chakras, their heart chakras in particular. Okay? So you are probably someone I would qualify as, okay, quotation marks, a healer type person. You don't have to call yourself a healer. You don't even have to identify with yourself as a healer or identify yourself as a healer. But your voice has a very healing quality. It carries a lot of weight in a powerful, potential type ways. Okay? You're very unique. You're very diverse. Diverse is an interesting word because I don't really use that word. I don't even know what it means exactly. But obviously everyone is unique. But your individual voice has a certain flow. It has a certain vibration. And this particular vibration is meant to reach people on a certain level. And I just hear, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Perhaps one of the ways you are here to reach them is by prompting them or triggering them to ask these questions, to ask themselves, what do I need? What's important to me? Why am I here? What would I like to experience for myself? Okay? So many of you who are listening to this will likely associate yourself with someone who's a communicator, a very effective communicator. Whether you realize it or believe it or not, that's a separate thing, but you are likely a very powerful communicator already. Okay? However, many of you have been squashed, or your voice has been subdued, or you have subdued your own voice. Again, there's always a reason. There's always a reason. Okay? So let's see what your soul wants you to work on. I love it. First of all, I hear choices, choices, choices. So, pile number 2, you are likely in the process of making different choices or making different decisions than what you are used to. You are likely going to walk through doors which represent to me opportunities that you will qualify as different for yourself. They're not the norm according to everybody, okay? These opportunities or opportunity will offer you unique ways to express your uniqueness, okay? In powerful ways. You are on the road to doing that, whatever that means. Okay? But you have to trust yourself. And you have to trust that life will support you in that. Okay? Now, if you are someone who has not felt supported in the past, then your ability to go with the flow or to trust life is going to be limited. Right? Of course. So, obviously, the more we trust the river of life, pulse of life, the more we trust the process, the more we are in the flow and less resistance we will experience. Which resistance is always a funny thing. Doesn't feel good. Okay? Sometimes resistance is good, but sometimes it's not so good. Okay? And we resist for various reasons. So the question here is, what are you resisting right now? Pile number 2, what are you resisting right now? Question 1. Number 2, why? Why are you resisting it? I heard because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Remember, you are not supposed to do a damn thing. You are supposed to experience. And because you're listening to this, the likelihood of your experiencing Christ consciousness is on top of the list. It's on top of your to-do list. That's what you're here to do. The how you do it, you get to yield your power in order to decide how you do that. I just heard, what if I'm wrong? Okay, so let's take this. How would you know if you were right? Well, sometimes you don't know, sometimes you have to trust, but sometimes something feels right. Your head may be telling you a different story, but something inside you, your body, your being, your self, not your logic, says, oh, this feels so good. This feels so good. And then your head says, no, we can't go there. Here's all the reasons why we can't. Your job is to go, okay, why can't I? Why can't I? What beliefs do I hold about myself that tell me I can't? Examine those. Powerful exercise. Absolutely powerful exercise. And you too are likely in an existential space right now, trying to figure out what you are here to do, what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to do a damn thing. Now, I'm not saying don't go and take care of your family. But at the end of the day, you choose it. You make the choice every day to take care of your family. You may not prefer the choice, yes. You may prefer another choice, yes. But it's still a choice, isn't it? If you deny yourself knowing this, you are, in essence, denying your power. It may sound a little bit harsh. I don't mean to. It doesn't feel harsh to me. It feels like, let's just tell it like it is. Let's just create a little bit of a wake-up call. Here's the thing. If you continue to choose denying your power, at least choose it. Don't let it happen to you. Make it happen. Don't let it happen to you. Because it means if it's happening to you, then you are not doing anything about it. It's not you. Now, reminder, your life belongs to you. Your life belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It belongs to you. Okay? How you choose to live it out is up to you. Okay? Well, what if I was born to a certain family and that was not my preference? Well, if it wasn't your preference, you wouldn't be born into this family. On a higher plane level, you made the choice and you had goddamn good reasons for it. It acted as an instigator towards your growth, towards your expansion. Okay? And you did it willingly. Although I am sure if you were to be asked now, if you could reverse that choice, you could say, yes, please, yesterday. I'm out of here. Not how it works. Well, even that statement, I'm out of here, you're choosing to be here. Because if you chose not to, you wouldn't be here. Right? Right? So the big word is choice. And when I feel into this idea of choice, it brings me a bit of anxiety. Why does choice bring me anxiety? Let's think about that for a moment. I don't know what to choose. I don't know what okay. Likelihood is that you know exactly how to choose. You're just going about it the wrong way. Maybe you are too much stuck in your head about it. Now, your head tells you a certain story. Okay? It also magnifies the story you are attached to, the story you have created for yourself. Okay? But what if you want to live out another story? What if you could live out another story? And the answer is, by the way, you can. But in order for you to live out another story, you'd have to make different choices, different decisions for yourself. Yes? You'd have to make a choice. Pile number 2, I feel like you are needing to look in the mirror, to look at yourself deeply. And asking yourself some of these questions. And some of these questions are tough to ask ourselves. What am I here to do? We often think in terms of doing. What am I here to do? Remember, you're not here to do anything. You're here to experience. And you don't experience only by doing, you experience by being. And when you are doing, you are also being. Okay? You can do something being angry, or you can do something being ecstatic. And everything in between. Okay? So who you are being and what are you doing can be two different things. But when they coincide, it's like a dance. When what you are doing aligns with who you are being, when you are being true to yourself, you're unstoppable. You are letting the river of life carry you because you trust the process. When you're aligned, there's no inner fight. There's no chaos. There's the occasional trigger here and there, but for the most part, you're just trusting. The universe is asking you to trust life. To trust that you will fulfill your purpose as long as you are willing to listen to yourself, the true self, not the self that is telling you things you're not supposed to do or be because of what it knows about itself. That's all it knows. Your ego only knows what it knows from your experience. It doesn't know what it doesn't know yet. But just because you don't know something does not mean it doesn't exist. Or just because you don't know about something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Of course it does. Of course it does. Where you are right now, you are not consciously thinking or even aware of what somebody else may be doing or being or existing on the other side of the world. You're completely unaware of that. Does that mean it doesn't exist? No, it just simply means you are not in alignment with it. You're not connected with it. It's out of your range. It's out of your range. So that information doesn't even enter your sphere. Okay? And you don't think about it, or therefore you don't even think about it. Okay? Five of Cups. Crying over spilled milk. You might be feeling a little bit down. The word auspicious is crossed, which means what's opposite of auspicious. You're feeling down, you're not feeling auspicious at all. You're nervous about what's going to happen. Okay? You are probably likely someone who is going through a pretty steep climb right now in terms of your progress. You are progressing quite fast, but it is a steep hill. It is a challenge, okay? And it's not necessarily that the steeper the challenge, the faster the progression, but you, pile number 1 as a soul, are choosing this challenge for yourself. Now again, in a human body, your ego is probably cursing at the person looking at you right now, or the person you're listening to, and saying you've lost your mind. I certainly know what it feels like to lose my mind, let me tell you. And it is scary. And what it means to lose your mind is to literally let go of the mind that you are used to in favor of an expanded mind. Okay. Pile number 2, look at your limitations right now and ask yourself, what defines me? How do I define myself? What sort of shortcomings are you clinging on to that you believe are shortcomings that define you, that you choose for it to define you? Remember, you are more than the definition you have of yourself. You are emphatically more than the definition you have of yourself. And how you define yourself is up to who? It's up to you. It's always up to you. How you define yourself is up to you. It doesn't matter how someone else defines you. Because in order for how they define you be yours, you have to buy into it. Now, if somebody's truth defines you as you being small, first of all, it has probably nothing to do with you. It has more to do with the other person. But why would you choose to buy into what their idea of you is? Now, of course, I'm talking mostly about strangers, but also loved ones. And of course, we care what other people think about us, right? And we want other people to think good thoughts about us because it makes us feel, it gels everything together. We're in good company that way. If we are judged or criticized all the time, we feel rejected. And to feel rejected means we're not feeling like we are a part of something. We feel less than. We feel like we don't belong. So, what defines you? Or how do you define you? Or who defines you? Who defines you? Who defines your name? Who defines you? Who is responsible for the way you see yourself? If it's somebody else, then we have a problem. Because that means that you are then going to live out your life according to their definition, not yours. But what if their definition of you is not what you're aligned with? What if it's not in alignment with you? Okay, these are the interesting questions you want to ask yourself. Obviously, you have been hurt in the past. That goes without saying. Your thoughts often go there. You may not even be conscious of it because a lot of it is unconscious. But there's a way out of it. Right now, as you are in this portal, if you will, there's a way out of you being stuck in your past. Now, here's the thing. Past doesn't exist, nor does future. Okay? There's no such thing as past. It's a memory. Okay? But when you are thinking frequently, referring to your past, you are creating based on your past, not what you want for your future. Okay? And if you are creating based on your past, then you are creating based on the concepts and ideas you have had about yourself up until now, including the limiting ones. And the more you use those concepts as part of your creation, the more you are creating more of the same. Okay? In order to create different, you have to allow yourself to come out of that old concept of you, especially the limiting one, and choose to see things differently. Again, the word is choice. If you don't choose, it's not going to happen. In order to experience something different, you have to make a choice in that direction. If you need, for example, if one of your things is that I want to feel fulfilled, great, okay. Fulfillment is a feeling. Start small and ask yourself, what does bring me fulfillment? What used to bring me fulfillment? Perhaps it still does. Identify what brings you fulfillment. And again, some of you will be looking to the outside, and that's not necessarily the best way to look at, because it's always, fulfillment is how you feel. So here's a good exercise for you. It's actually a fantastic exercise. Get into a space where you are mentally relaxed and image yourself or imagine yourself feeling fulfilled. Okay? What you are literally doing is you are summoning certain frequencies with your thought alone. Okay? Purely with intention. Okay? And bring those energies or feelings about. Bring them out. Bring them out so you can feel them. Feel the energy of fulfillment. And you may even ask the question, what does fulfillment give me? You can take that further, but just let's stay with the word fulfillment. And now you're in that state, feeling fulfillment. And it's going to feel in various types of the parts of your body for different people. I'm getting a lot in the throat. Notice if you're having difficulty with feeling fulfillment, okay? With embodying the sensation of being fulfilled. If you are having a hard time with it, then that means you are in resistance to it. The question then would be why? Why are you resisting feeling fulfilled, since this is what you are looking for? See, we can often resist the very things we are wanting to create without even realizing that's what we're doing. That's the phenomenal part about it. Okay? So get yourself into the essence of fulfillment. And when you're there, when you have that feeling, try to hold it for like as long as you can. It's probably seconds. Within that state, ask yourself, what brings me fulfillment? And see what comes to you. But it has to be in that state so that your mind is not trying to judge and dissect everything. That is the most effective way for you to communicate with Source, with your own higher consciousness, is when the mind is out of the way. That's what meditation is about. Okay? And then notice what comes to you. It might be something that surprises you, because it could be you having an image of painting something. And you don't consider yourself a painter. But what might be happening is the universe might be giving you an idea on how to start bringing out this sensation of fulfillment. And this may be one small way to start with. So that you get into a habit, or in a habit of feeling this feeling. What happens when you get in a habit of feeling this feeling? Well, you feel it, so you feel fulfilled. And the moment you're not feeling that, you notice its absence right away. And then you get to ask the question, what's missing? Why am I feeling absence of fulfillment? What have I stopped doing? What happened for me to no longer feel that? What came in the way? And then you get to examine that and deal with it accordingly. Okay? Fulfillment is a state. It's a state of being. Okay? And it happens through different means, yes, but it's a state of being. There are many people who do wonderful things and they're good at it, they're amazing at it, but they're not fulfilled. Doesn't mean it's anything wrong with that. It just means they're not fulfilled. And when they're not fulfilled, it makes them feel like they're not really truly being them who they are. It's like something is just missing. We've all heard this before. Okay? But what if what's missing is an understanding, this higher level of understanding? And remember, because you're listening to this as a soul, you're here to embody Christ consciousness. And if we live in the past, if we're stuck in the past, it's going to be difficult to experience this higher consciousness, because a lot of what's in our past is limiting, has a limiting quality, has a limiting effect on our being and our expression. It has served the purpose at some point, yes, very valuable, but now it's limiting. Pile number 2, you are guided to discover more what's within yourself, and also recognize some of the things that are missing in your life. What's missing? Is it contentment? Is it self-assurance? Is it healthy self-esteem? And if those are the things that are missing, then the next question is, what is my belief about it? If your belief about yourself is that you are not good enough, then you're not going to feel good enough, right? Animal kingdom. This is interesting. So what you want to know is, look up the animal totem for a bear, also eagle, and well, there's few. Look at the animals here. There is a wolf, owl, eagle, and this little guy, I don't know what his name is, and the bear. Okay, so all these symbolically mean something. Okay, perhaps those are the different aspects of you that want your attention. The owl is about knowledge. The eagle is about higher perspective. The wolf is very much symbolic for a leader, okay, leader of the pack. I want to say it's an antelope, but it's not an antelope, it's an elk, I think. He's a little bit further behind and he feels a little bit shy, okay? But what he represents to me is knowledge. You have knowledge within you, because the horns to me represent knowledge. But you are a little bit shy being front and center with this knowledge, and that's okay. You're still a little bit in the shadows, okay? But if that's the case, if you feel like you have a certain knowledge and it's been gifted to you, and you're a little bit unsure about expressing this knowledge, then ask yourself the question, why? What makes you nervous? Why are you nervous about it? Are you afraid you're going to be judged? Okay, let's look at that. What judgments do you hold about yourself, first and foremost? Do you judge yourself harshly? Are you a judgmental person to yourself or others? Okay. The less you are judgmental of yourself, the less you will be judgmental of others, though I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying that's how it works. And also, other people's judgments will bother you less. Okay? But this card did come up to me in reverse. So what this is saying to me is, what I'm hearing is, you're not listening to yourself. You want peace, but you don't know how to get there. You want contentment, but you don't know how to get there. And again, trying to find it on the outside is going to be a bit of a futile process, because it's the answer is not on the outside. You may get prompted from outside to go inside, yes, but the answer is always on the inside. This is what my work is about. My work with my team is all about helping you realize your potential and your power by helping you see into the unconscious parts of you. It's not me telling you, because in order for me to tell you and you believe it, you have to make the choice to believe it. Why would you believe something if you don't know if it's true for you? Okay? You're listening to far too many people about shoulds or shouldn'ts. Make your own opinion. Mark your place in the world is what I'm being asked to say. You have a very powerful, strong voice. I believe I said that already. I just heard name your price. Name your price, and I see a being handing you a whole bunch of abundance. Okay. When you believe in yourself, especially with you having knowledge, and you bring this knowledge to the world, because you are gifting others with this knowledge, the universe wants to pay you back. Not because it has to, but because it wants to. It is an exchange of energy. Okay? So pile number 2, you are likely someone who has the ability to know things, acknowledge things, and bring this awareness into the world. And the universe is saying, when you do that, literally name your price. Okay? Now, if you say, okay, I name $1 million, do you believe it? Remember, if you name a price and you say to the universe, this is my price, this is how I would like to experience prosperity with this number. Watch what happens in your body. Does your body go, ah? Or is it like, yes? Because chances are, if you have any resistance to this opulence that you have named for the universe to give you, then that means there is something standing in the way of you experiencing that. So you have to look at it. Okay? These are all powerful, powerful, powerful messages today. So that's what we have for you, pile number 2. Of course, if you need help with walking through this maze, we would be more than honored to help. That information is down below. Thank you so much. Pile number 2. Okay, pile number 3. Let's see what we have for you. When I was handling the pictures, the cards, one fell out and I felt I needed to speak about it. I'm being asked to talk about blue beings. And what I'm being asked to say is this: you are essentially a blue being yourself. What does that mean? It means that you are energetically different. I'm going to try and say it differently. It's like having 2 operating systems in 2 different computers, and they both do the same thing, but their inner workings and how they work to accomplish the same thing is different. So as a human being, you find yourself either being different or feeling different or both than most of the people around you. Okay? I heard the word crystal children, indigo children. Look up those phrases. You are a star being yourself. What does that mean? It means that, according to what they're telling me, that Earth is not your preferred home. You've been here many times, but you do it because you come here because you know the value of what human experience is going to give you. And they're saying to me, being on planet Earth, how quickly we learn is at a ridiculous speed in comparison to other places of learning. I don't know if that's true. My Joanna box doesn't know if it's true. Sounds reasonable to me, so I can't prove it. But this is what I'm being asked to say. Because you find yourself feeling different, and probably have for most of your life, you would have essentially spent most of your life, and probably still do, trying to fit in. Okay? Here's the thing. You are not supposed to fit in. You are supposed to stand out. And if there was nothing different about you, you would blend in, you wouldn't stand out. And your job is to stand out. Why? Because you have an important mission. Okay? Your mission is, A, to educate yourself as fast as you can in terms of the possibilities and probabilities around human life. Not quite sure what it means, but let's go with it. And upon educating yourself first, you bring this inner knowledge, this inner understanding, out in the open. And in the past, when you brought this information out in the open, you were outcast. So, part of your path right now may be fears around being outcast, or fear being outcasted, ousted, rejected. It's a very strong possibility that that's where you're at right now. And you're sitting on some sort of a choice right now, or shortly. And you're saying to yourself, should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? Should I pursue this or should I just go do something else? And whatever this thing is that's kind of pulling you in the direction of where you want to go, there's equally a scared part of you that doesn't want you to go there because of the fact that you have been prosecuted in the past for the very thing you are being drawn to do. Okay? However, in this lifetime, you made a commitment to yourself that you are not going to let this bother you as much. And you're going to do your best to make the choices that you feel are right for you, independent of what other people think and say, and not allowing the fear of being prosecuted stop you. So you likely, pile number 3, will have fears coming up around prosecution, which may be disguised as fear of rejection. Okay? For a lot of you, if that's the case, that's a past life or many life stories. You also have enormous connection to Earth, and you draw a lot of wisdom and knowledge from Earth. And I hear herbs, things like herbs and spices. So you might actually be helping people or communicating things to people that are helpful in nature, and somehow have a connection to herbs and spices. Okay, so you might be that type of a healer. Okay, and it's about, I almost said reversing conditions, but if not reversing conditions, then at least making certain conditions be at a status quo, so there's no volatility. Okay? And some of you have this ability in you right now. You have this ancient wisdom when it comes to specific types of healings with plant medicine from planet Earth. You're deeply connected and charged by Mother Earth's energy. It's very powerful. And you seem to have this gift that comes from plant knowledge. There's few ways there's few things that could mean. So I'm not going to try to interpret it for you. If it's meant for you, you will know. You have this gift, ancient gift, that's connected to plant knowledge. Okay? And for some of you, this knowledge is connected to, I want to say the word psychoactive plants. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go with it. If this is meant for you, you'll recognize instantly what I mean, or in the future, near future. Okay. However, what you have to say is also a little bit controversial. It's I literally see an image, and this is a metaphor, I'm sure. Someone saying, I know how I can make something better or make something go away. And this person gets locked up for saying that. Because you're not supposed to have this knowledge. You're not supposed to have this knowledge. You're not supposed to have this knowledge, but you have it. Okay? I just said, why isn't this person supposed to have this knowledge? I just heard it's too complicated. It's complicated. So I don't know what it means, but it's interesting. Okay? If you're a person with this knowledge, or if you're armed with certain knowledge that is plant-based or has to do with plant medicine, what I want to say is this: be mindful how you express this gift, because your gift has a far reach. But it's like you want to make it straight and narrow. That's how I want to say it. And it's a metaphor. It's encoded. I just heard you don't have to go out of your way to make things disappear. I don't know what that means. You don't have to go out of your way to make things disappear. Just do what you're supposed to do, and the rest is going to take care of itself. It feels to me like you are trying to prove your point or prove something to somebody. And all I'm hearing is just do what you're good at. The proving will happen on itself, by itself. Okay? You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Those who are wanting your knowledge will listen, and those who are opposed to it will not. And there will be people who will say, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? And that may make you feel a little bit almost like disqualified. And it's not that, let me say it differently. These people don't have the knowledge that you do, therefore they cannot speak to it or about it. To them, it's nonsense. It makes no sense. Okay? But your knowledge has a different type of a sense. It comes with a certain level of understanding someone has to have in order to benefit from what you have to offer. For example, if they fundamentally don't believe it, they will not allow this knowledge to help and improve their life. And that's their choice. This knowingness that I'm talking about, whatever it is for you, It's already in you. It's within you already. You, in other times, were trying really hard to protect yourself from people taking it away from you. Well, you can't take away knowledge from somebody. The best you can do is you can punish them for it. Okay? So you have been prosecuted. I see the word prosecuted harshly for some of you for having this knowledge. And it's coming around again in this lifetime for you. Or I should say, you are choosing to express it again, but in a different way, in a different format, in a different arena. Okay? And you're not fighting with the opposition. You are just doing what you are meant to do or supposed to do. And the results speak for themselves. And I just heard, there is no competition. You don't have competition. There's only one you. So if you're trying to compete with someone, they're saying don't bother. You don't have competition. Unless you want to compete, if that makes you feel good. And it's not that you are far ahead of others or you're better. It's just that you are unique individual with your own unique sets of dynamics that make you you. And that you, the original you, the unique you, has a certain frequency. People are either attracted to it or they're not. It's almost like black and white. Okay? So with you, anybody that's not supposed to be in your life, you manifest it pretty quickly. All you have to do is raise your vibration, and those who are not in support of your higher calling will magically just disappear out of your life. Okay? Which brings me to my point. You are starting to vibrate quicker for longer periods of time, which means you are in higher dimensions now more than the lower dimensions. Again, it's not about better or worse, it's just different frequencies. So you are, let's use this language, you are vibrating a lot more on plane 5 or on 5th dimension, let's use that analogy, and a lot less in comparison on the 3rd. So you are already stepping up to this other frequency. And some people in your life may not recognize you from that other perspective. They know you for who you are, for what you are supposed to be, but the person that you are supposed to be is changing now. You are changing. And some people may be wondering what's happening to you. By the way, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Quite simply, what's happening is you are growing immensely. You're growing. You're expanding. And the more we expand, and every time we expand, we tap into just a little bit more of our innate power. Okay? And this power can come to you in different ways, including you need gifts. So you might be in possession of some pretty unique gifts. And some people may be uncomfortable with that. Okay? It's almost eerie to them. Some people may feel very uncomfortable with that aspect of you. Okay? Your job is not to minimize yourself to make sure they're comfortable. Okay? Don't go out of your way to make them uncomfortable. Okay? But your job is not to lower yourself to make them feel comfortable, because they have to recognize their own thing going on as to why they potentially feel uncomfortable with your gifts. Okay? They're not uncomfortable because of you, they're uncomfortable because of them. Okay? Perhaps what you are showing them is possible is bringing some doubts inside of them, because remember, you are here to touch people. Okay? You are here to touch people. I'm hearing the word obscurity. I'm not quite sure where to put it. You're not here to defend yourself. There's no need for you to defend yourself. So if you feel like you need to defend yourself or your gifts or your power, I literally want to say you're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy. There's no need for you to defend yourself. Now, of course, I'm not talking about if you're being chased, you got to run because you got to defend yourself. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you fully expressing you to the fullest, which will come with you discovering certain gifts. Okay? So, Mother Earth connection here. That was a big one. In terms of your soul, what your soul wants you to experience right now, complete surrender. Yikes. Oh, but you are resisting. My. I know a little bit about resistance myself. In fact, I wrote thesis on it. Your ego is fairly uncomfortable right now. It is afraid of being found out. And when we are afraid of being found out, it's generally speaking because we are hiding something. Now, I'm not talking about you doing something bad and hiding. That's not what I'm talking about. It's about hiding aspect of yourself. You've been in hiding up until now. Okay? It's this connection you have. It's this knowledge you are here to bring and share. I feel this is what you've been hiding. Okay? Let it come out in the open. You can't lose your voice. That's very interesting. You can't lose your voice. You can choose not to use it, but you can't lose your voice. Someone cannot take your voice away. It's a metaphor, okay? But you can choose to not use your voice, yes. Do you want to choose your voice? Or do you want to keep pretending that your voice doesn't exist? That you don't have a voice? Because, oh boy, you have a voice. You have a powerful voice. If I may just say, there's an energy surging through me. You have a kick-ass powerful voice. Now, maybe because you haven't practiced speaking your voice, speaking your truth for a long time, to you it might feel like you don't have it. But oh boy, it's there. It's there, ready and anxious for recognition. This inner voice wants to be recognized by you, which means you haven't been paying to this inner voice, paying attention to this inner voice. Perhaps you've been ignoring this inner voice. We always have our reasons. So if that's the case, if you have been ignoring your inner voice, ask the question, why? What does ignoring my inner voice give me? Don't pretend it gives you nothing, because unless it gives you something in return, you would never participate in this energy exchange. And it is an exchange. You wouldn't have this dynamic within you, okay? You have some unrecognized aspects of you that are choosing to be seen. You are in the process of choosing to be seen in different ways than you have been seen before. And for some of you, it's going to make you feel out of your element because you've been hiding for so long, okay? And being out of your element can feel unpredictable, can feel anxious, can feel unsure. Okay? And I just heard coming out can feel lonely. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And I'm asking, what are they coming out with? And I'm hearing the version of their truth. Their version of their truth. In other words, they're speaking their truth finally. So your soul wants you to stop resisting so much. And if you are resisting, what are you resisting and why? What are you resisting? Are you resisting feeling better about yourself? Because when you learn to speak your truth, it will absolutely amplify the way you feel about yourself, yes? Okay. Is that what you're afraid of? You're afraid of feeling amplified? Maybe you're afraid of being full, as in you're afraid that it's going to go to your ego. Certainly, that's one possibility. And if that's the case, surely life will test you, just to kind of make sure your ego is in check. But you are bringing with you some tremendous power. And if your ego was not in check, things could get interesting. Okay? Not necessarily in the most positive ways. Remember, great power comes with great responsibility. Okay? And you are responsible to yourself, and for your choices. So, will you keep on continue choosing to suppress your inner voice? And because you have a powerful voice, suppressing it is going to feel not great. Okay? As a matter of fact, the type of suppression I'm being shown can often compromise one's health, mental, emotional, physical. Okay? Surrender to the process of rediscovering yourself. How do you know yourself? Well, first and foremost, you need to know your your truth. And your unique truth is unique to you. How you see it, how you experience it, how you relate to it is very unique to you. Okay? I just did a reading for Sagittarius for 2023, and this was one of the biggest messages. So if you're a Sagittarius, or one of your signs is in Sagittarius, moon rising or sun, this might be significant. The reading for 2023 might be significant to you. I won't have them for a while, but it'll be ready for 2023. Okay? So you're likely Sagittarius, or have some Sagittarius in your chart, in your house, in your astrology chart. You are a magnified being. What does that mean? I heard them say, we're all looking at you. You have there's a quality of importance to what you do. And I want to be very careful as to not make it sound like you are somehow more important than somebody else. We're all have importance. But there's something uniquely different about you. So you've got a twist to you. There's a twist to you that is unique in a way that it stands out. Because we're all unique, but not everybody stands out. this uniqueness somehow stands out. It may be the way you look, maybe the way you sound, maybe the way you structure sentences, maybe the way you don't say a lot, yet you say a lot. I mean, there's various ways. The aura you give off, the energy you give off. There's some twist to you, okay? You are clearly a unique individual. And you are in the energy of manifesting. Whatever this thing that you are having brought into planet Earth in order to share this knowledge with plants or plant medicine or herbs or spice, whatever that is for you, meditate on what would you want it to look like, and ask the universe to align you with the 3D opportunities for you to express that. Okay? And by the way, you don't have to make it a job. Okay? You could, but you don't have to make it as a job. It could be something you do on the side. It could be something you do as a hobby. It could be something you do just because you love what it is. But chances are, with your unique gifts and the impact that you have, chances are that you're not going just to be doing things behind scene. Chances are you are here to be seen. That's why you stand out. Okay? And if what I'm saying makes you nervous, it's not a bad thing. Nervousness can be a good thing, an expectation, right? Ask the universe to show you. What's the right question to ask, please? I just heard, help me experience my gifts. So you have a gift, pile number 3. We all have gifts, but for pile 3, I'm focusing on you have a special gift. Ask the universe to help you express your unique gifts in your own unique, supporting, loving, safe ways and abundant ways. Okay? And then your job is to hold that frequency. Okay? Which means you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can do it. You have to be in alignment with your truth. Okay? Because when you're not in alignment with your truth and the universe tries to send you messages, you'll miss it. You're not going to hear it because you will not be in alignment to hear it. Okay? In order to hear the universe, God's angels, source, you need to have an open communication channel. Okay? We're all effectively channels. Okay? And the more we are in the flow, the more we are the channel for energy which we experience as life. That's what life is. It's this force channeled through our own individual uniqueness, and we call that life. We call the experience of that life. Okay? Stay committed to yourself. If you have many things to take on, make sure you are not taking on other people's stuff. You're far too busy anyway. So be mindful if you are not blindly taking on other people's stuff, not realize you're doing it, and then making it your own. Like, for example, other people's opinions about you. Sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I'll get an opinion on channel that I shouldn't wear makeup, for example, right? Because that's a very spiritual comment, right? So I'm judging, but the person is basically judging, right? So if someone judges you and you take it on, ask yourself why. Why are you taking on how they see you? Why are you making it your responsibility? And the thing is that we do it all the time without even knowing it. I'm an expert at it. You decide, you have a choice how you want to see yourself, how you want to identify yourself. You choose that. You choose that. Okay? Protection in reverse. Well, even upright, there's definitely no scars going to be happening to this person because this person is so protected, which is wonderful. It denotes safety and security, but in reverse, you're hiding behind your protection. You're hiding behind your mask. Why are you hiding behind your mask? Because you don't want people to see you. Why? Why don't you want people to see you? I just heard because I'm afraid of what they're going to say. Okay, let's take it further. So you're afraid of what they're going to say. What could they possibly say that would be so terrible to you, for you, that they don't like you? Okay. There's not a rule that says you have to be liked by everybody. Okay, they don't have to like you. That's their decision, not yours. Right? What if they reject me? What if they don't? Remember, to be affected by somebody else's rejection of you, none of us like it. But if you live in self-acceptance and self-love, if you live in a state of non-rejection within you, if you live in wholeness, somebody's rejection is not going to bother you very much. Because you're not using their ideas and their perceptions to fulfill you. You're fulfilled. You're good. You're good. Thank you very much. It's like choosing between whole different apples and one is spoiled. You're not going to choose a spoiled apple, obviously, and that's a metaphor. You're going to choose a good one, right? So you just remove the spoiled one and you choose the good one. Unless you want to experience having or eating an apple that's spoiled, which you can, absolutely, but make it your choice. Make it your choice. Do it because you want to have that experience. Don't do it automatically because. There's no because. You decide the because. There will be many people who might reject you, and they may not be wanting to reject you, but you will feel rejected. There's a likelihood of that everywhere you go. In fact, you can't get away from it. It's part of life. Okay? We all have our differences. We all see our things differently. We see things differently, and sometimes we get hurt. It's all part of life. Somebody told me a long time ago, and this is so true. There is no wall thick enough that will prevent you from getting hurt if someone really wants to hurt you. Doesn't exist. So you might as well drop the wall. Have boundaries? Yes. Drop the wall. Because the wall, the wall does not allow you to experience more of what is. Plus, the wall keeps you separated, segregated. And that is not necessarily a feel-good state to be in. Okay? You are not supposed to be anything. you are quote unquote supposed to choose what you want to be. So overprotectiveness, overprotecting yourself because you are fearful of rejection. And again, many of you have been captured in other lifetimes for acknowledging your gifts, for bringing your gifts out. So naturally you will have a tendency to do that, but it is a shadow aspect. And though it has protected you in other lifetimes, it has often, probably, almost for sure protected you earlier on in your life, but now it's standing in your way. Now it's oppressing you. Now it's limiting you. Now it's not allowing you experience yourself to the fullest. So if you're going to keep yourself in that state, at least do it because you can, because you choose to, not because it's happening to you. And when our ego is in a driver's seat, it's very hard. I'm going to say it differently. If we are making choices consciously or unconsciously, which 95% of everything we do is unconscious, but if we're making choices, unconscious choices from the space of our shadow, which is our fear, then we are constantly practicing being fearful, right? However, when we shed light on the shadow, it's no longer a shadow, is it? It becomes conscious. When something is conscious, it can be dealt with. You cannot deal with anything that you are not consciously aware of. And there are some shadows that are keeping you away from what you want. Okay? Surrender to the process of understanding how and why. This is a big deal for you guys. It's for everybody, but it's for pile 3. Okay? This was very powerful. I hope this made sense. Of course, if you need help deciphering this or helping you move past your own emotional turmoil, then my loving team and myself would be honored to help you. Of course, there is a Black Friday promo, 25% off my sessions until Monday. If you ever want to have a session with me, you might want to jump on board. Again, we would be very honored. Thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day, weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. If you are desiring to tap into your infinite inner knowledge for the purpose of expressing yourself more fully, and you are not quite sure how to go about it, click on the link below and book a session with myself and my spiritual team, and we would be honored to help you on your journey. Thank you so much, and have a great day.